Hello. Now we are going to talk about the named tuples, how to modify the named tuples and how to extend the named tuples. Okay. For now, consider that let's import the named tuple over here. And now consider that here we have created the named tuple. The name of the class is point2d. We have this two property x and the y, right? So this object generated by the named tuples, and because this is the tuple, so it's immutable, right? So in the other work, let's say that here we are getting this point 2D objects, the origin, and if here we are trying to change the value of x, earlier the value of x is 10, but now we are assigning a new value. If you want to do this, that's just not possible because you cannot change it because it's a tuple, right? So this is just like a string, right? If you have to change it, like you will have to create a new object, right? So we can do something like that. For that, here we're saying point 2d 0, and then we are saying origin dot y. So this is like we are creating a new tuple, and but the y value is same as the origin, but for x value we are taking 0, right? Here we have created it. So now this is the point 2d, right? We can do this, but again consider that if you, so this is possible, but consider that if you have the larger property or more number of property, like here we are creating stock, we have this symbol here month, right? So we have these many properties, right? And let's say that here we are creating this stock, right? And to update the close property over here, what you have to do is, using this technique, you have to again create the another object of stock, and then we are saying all the value which is coming from the same object, but now this value is new now, so we can create this way. But again, this is a painful, we know that. We can do some unpacking, we can use unpacking technique to kind of over, like, to remove this rewriting this value headache, right? So here we can say that, like, here we're saying this star value then underscore, so the star value will hold all the value except the last one, right? We can do this unpacking because this is stock is the named tuple, it has a tuple property, so we can unpack this. So we can see the value, all the value we have. So we can create a new tuple over here. So here we're creating stock, and then this value will be unpacked. And then for the last object, which is this, I guess, which is this close, right? For this we are giving the new value over here. So this is the one way you can do. But again, well, let's say that if you want to do this, let's say that if you want to change two value, right, or one value which is in between, so you have to do something like that, right? So from first, then month, and from last, but again this will not make sense, right? So what we can do is, we can also use the slicing and then unpack it. Like here we have this object of dji, right, of the stock object. We can try slicing, we can say that from 0 to 3. Now after that we want to change the third value, and then from fourth the all the objects. So we can do this, we can combine this, but again, because this is a tuple, it will create a new object. But again, we just need a property to create this name tuple object, so we'll pass the same value over here, right? And then after we passing it, we'll unpack this with star. So this will work, this will work. But again, this will get worse if you want to update two things or more than two things, right? Like here we have this, let's say that here we have this object, and let's say that if you want to change this year value, right, and then if you want to change this day value, right? So again, now we can see that this has becoming like this has become uncomfortable now, right? So it's like more painful. We can, even though it is possible, but it is a quite lengthy process, right? So let's say that if you want to, but again, like, let's say that instead of this, if you want to avoid the unpacking, we can use the make method or make class method. We can say stock.make, and then we can pass the value, so we do not have to unpack that value. This will even work, right? But again, this is, but there is other way to do this. We can use the replace method. Like over here we have this original object, we can check the id of this is this. So here we have this id 6448, but now we are using the replace method, and now we are saying that year and the day. So now we can use a different value with the help of property. We are saying now we want to change year value as 2019 and day value of 26. So this will create a new object with the replaced value of this year and the day. So this is more useful. And then because this is a new object has been created, we can even check. So we can see that this was the original value and this is the new value, right? So again, like, sorry, this is the new value we have this and this is the original value we have. We can even check the ID of this new value. This is different. ID is different from the original value, right? We can even extend the named tuple, right? We can use this. So consider this value over here. Consider that. So here we have this, we are creating a named tuple of point 2D. We have this two property x and the y. We can even extend this. So this is like how to change it. But let's say that if you want to extend this, we have this two coordinate now. But let's say that if you want to create three coordinate, so you can do this. You can create a new tuples, right? But again, let's say that if we have this more number of property, like the stock object we have, right? So of course we can create a new like new tuple, but again this is a very difficult, right? Suppose we want to create a new class called stock ext, right? So we can do this. So like again we have to recreate this, right? But instead of leverage the field property, right, like instead we can extract all the field property. Like over here we had two property, now we have three. We can extract all the field property with this field, right? We have this all the field property. Now let's say that we want to add a extra property over here. Let's say the previous close. We can simply say that stock dot field, and then we can add this previous close, this new field. We have this, and now, so this is how we can do. So here we are creating a new tuple, stock ext. This is the all the field property with the added field, right? And then we can check that. So we can do this, or you can even join these value in the form of string, right? And then we can create the field value, right? Here we are joining this. Now same code we are writing over here, right? Now this is a new extended class. We may want to take one of the old named tuple instance djia and create an extended version of it, right? So here we can do this. So again, like here we have this change by changing the property or the field. Let's say that by using the object name, if you want to create a new class, so you can do this. Let's say that here we have this stock original property, right? We can do this way. We can say this stock ext, right? We can create this stock ext. Now we can get all the field property, and then we can give this name value. So we can also do this, right? So by using the object name, we are also creating the different property over here, right? We can use the make method. Simply we can say that stock ext.make, we can pass the object, and then we can add this value over here, which is the previous value. We can do this, and then we have this value, right? So we have created a named tuple. So there are a lot of things. So we know now how to modify the tuple and how to expand the tuple, right? That's it. Thank you.